FIFA World Cup is one of the biggest sports events in the world. All eyes are focused on everything that happens among the participating countries, especially sports media. However, not all participants are evenly covered by such media. Since most people are interested in some major participants, such as Brazil, Argentina, which consists of star players and a coach. According to Wallenstein's world system theory, countries in the world belong to three strata: core, semi-periphery, and periphery. In international news, the core countries have been covered more easily and frequently than the countries in the other two zones. How about sports news? This study assumes that not only the political and economic power of a country are expected to influence media coverage, but the significance of a country in a particular sport also predicts how prominently the country is covered. Therefore, this study examines how news media differently covered the countries that participated in the 2010 World Cup South Africa based on Wallenstein's world system theory. Wallenstein proposed the world system theory to extend the dependence theory. Dependence theory consists of the power hierarchy between the core and the periphery. The developed countries play a role as the center of a present system, while the less developed country play a role in the periphery. This slide shows the standard of international coverage and the sports journalism and related study. According to Kang's study, not all countries cover news fairly with the WTO and Reuters. Specifically, there are more news about core countries than semi-periphery or periphery countries. If a country is more peripheral, the quantity of news coverage is lower. So, in this situation, news is more deviant and the quantity of news coverage is higher. Like I said before, this study examines how news media differently covered the countries that participated in the 2010 World Cup soccer games based on Wallenstein's world system theory with World Cup news provided by FIFA.com. These are research questions and hypotheses. To confirm the research question and hypothesis, this study initiates a two-step cluster analysis, a content analysis, and an independent t-test to confirm question 1 and hypothesis 1. Then it conducts a correlation analysis to confirm question 2. This study classifies participating national teams through three international credible indexes: Global Peace Index, Global Competitiveness Index, and CIA World Factbook. These refer to the military force, the economic power, and the diplomatic power of each participant. Soccer significance refers to the financial value of each participant. The athletic significance of each participant is operationally defined as the sum of the 25 players' value evaluated by Football Finance, a marketing organization in Portugal. Last, We conducted the contents analysis in this process. Please see this following slide. To solve this research question 1, this study conducted a two-step cluster analysis. First, this study classified all participants based on the world system categories of core, semi-periphery, and periphery. For the categorical variable, 3 is given as a score to each participant in the core group, 2 to each participant in the semi-periphery category, and 1 to each participant in the periphery group. This study also employed the mean of points for military capability, sophistication, and export of a major conventional weapon per 100,000 people. Included as well were the overall points given by Global Competitiveness Index and the number of international organization participant points of each country, identifying the military force, the economic power, and diplomatic power as the continuous variables. To get the result for the two-step cluster analysis, participants were classified into two clusters. Cluster 1 consists of 18 countries. All belong to the core group and the semi-periphery group based on the description given in the world system category. The rest of the countries and the periphery group fall under cluster 2. To confirm the results, the study should statistically verify the difference between the two clusters. In the result of t-test in the table 4, there are statistically significant differences in military force, economic power, and diplomatic power. Hypothesis 1 investigated the difference in the prominence of a participant in the section Latest News of the 2010 FIFA World Cup site. To verify this hypothesis, this study conducted the independent t-test. Table 5 showed the result of such analysis. There was a statistically significant difference in the prominence as shown by the following formulae: frequency and volume between the core and the periphery. Research question 2 investigated the correlation between prominence and soccer significance in each group. To come up with data, the study conducted a correlation analysis. In the core zone, frequency and soccer significance and volume and soccer significance have demonstrated that they don't have any significant correlation statistically. Whereas in the periphery zone, frequency and soccer significance and volume and soccer significance have statistically significant correlations. All the results of this study were represented in Figure 1 and Figure 2. Figure 1 showed a scatter diagram about the frequency of media coverage for all the participants of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Figure 2 showed a scatter diagram about the volume of the media coverage for all participants. These figures demonstrated that participants in the core zone were covered by 2010 World Cup's latest news more often than participants in the periphery zone regardless of soccer significance. On the other hand, the periphery participants were covered as often as those in the core zone with a higher level of soccer significance. These results can be discussed from the perspectives of the different participants in the core and periphery group. World system perspective is applied to sports media coverage along with the international media coverage, which have been addressed by Kang, who mentioned in a study that countries in the core zone of the world system have more chances to make it in the news than countries in the two other zones. This assumption is proven by this study once more. Participants in the periphery zone need other variables to be recognized. As previously mentioned, this study confirmed that if a participant in the periphery zone has higher soccer significance, such a participant is given importance by the sports media. A rare attempt has been made to find determinants of sports news coverage. By such aim, this study tries to apply the world system theory to media coverage of sports events. This effort will expand the research boundary of international communication and sports journalism.